Hello. Welcome. You made it. You made it, and hopefully the sound is working. The way I test that is if the sound is working, type where you're listening from, and that's the ultimate test to see if sound is working. Hello. It is the night before the spring equinox for most of it. Oh, my dad says hi, son. Well, let's put that up there. It does exist. It does work. It all exists. What a strange word to use. Hello. I'm calling it because I couldn't think of any better names, but it worked not too bad. All things equal. All things equal. My name's Trevor, and that's me in the summertime wearing white shirts. I'm wearing black right now. Great. We got other people coming on in. I am from Plateau Astro, which is based here in Montreal. We got people from Pittsburgh. We got people from Ottawa, St. Louis, California, all over the place. Summerfield, Florida, up, down, east, west, everywhere. They're all coming from everywhere. I've got a warning to tell you. My girlfriend and I, we got a dog about 2.5 weeks ago, and this is the first time. She's out of the house right now, my girlfriend. The first time I've done a live stream with the dog in the house, and so far I'm looking at him right now. I'm looking at Scout. He's on the chair. He's quiet right now. But if a dog does sound like it's going berserk in the background, I do have one of his special bones right here. So hopefully that'll quiet him down. So if that does happen, I'll do my best to work on the scenario. There he is right there. Cute little boy. People from Kentucky, Melbourne, Florida, Vancouver, Holland Landing, Ontario. I've never even heard of some of these places. That's great. Kentucky, all over the board. Great. So yeah, again, here I'm from Montreal, doing this out of Montreal right now. Normally, I would bring my telescope in the street and show people the moon and more of the moon. You know, I love teaching people in person. I also make videos on YouTube, which is where you're watching this right now. So I don't want to be too much the marketing guy, but if you do enjoy these, you should totally subscribe because I really love the type of videos that I make. I hope that's not too self-serving. They're kind of fun little ways to sort of think about astronomy in sort of different ways. I also do presentations, hence why you're here, probably, to hear me present. And the fine folks at SkySafari, some of you might be here because of SkySafari. They sent me a message a few weeks ago saying, if you're ever doing a presentation, live stream on YouTube, hey, we'd love to give away some free codes for our apps. And I use SkySafari, and they want to give you the chance for you to use SkySafari. If you have an Android phone or an iPhone, they'll do that. So they're going to give away 10, count them, 10 free copies of their SkySafari Plus iPhone and Android apps. I did this last time on a stream about 3 weeks ago, and it was a bit chaotic because everybody was in the chat, and I had to try and corral and find people and their contact information. It's much easier for everybody this time. What we're going to do, you're going to go to plateauastro.com/equinox. And I spelled that right. Yes, I did. Okay. I'll put this up as a banner here, plateauastro.com/equinox. In a second, I'll show the banner. And what you're going to do, you're going to see a little form there. Very simple. You're not going to be signed up for a newsletter, none of that junk. Okay. Just put in your name, email address, just so I can contact you if you do win. And then what sort of device you want to use this for, Android or iOS. And then we have a secret code. Can you guess what the secret code is going to be? You might think it's going to be Equinox. It's going to be equal. 5 letters, five letters. So here I'm just going to put the URL. Hopefully this doesn't kick you out of your device and you leave YouTube for it, but maybe you're watching this on a second screen. I don't know. plateauastro.com/equinox. Yep. When I built my company, I didn't think that having 4 vowels in a row for my internet address would be a problem, but just be careful. plateauastro.com. Plateau. It's French, I'm told. Put in the secret code, equal. And then we're going to contact you after the show. We're going to do this as fair as we can. The first 5 people, you're going to win. But some people on the West Coast or people in other parts of the world, they might not get a chance. So after that, I'm going to randomly choose 5 people. Hopefully that's fair. This is the best version of democracy that I can make. So hopefully that works for you. These are really cool apps, and they're really actually nice people. They've been great to work with. If you already own it, And maybe you do, because SkySafari sent you a message to come and watch this. Hopefully I can show you a few things in SkySafari that you might not have known before. So hopefully that will do it. People saying, we love SkySafari. That's great. Awesome app. Love SkySafari. Lloydminster, Alberta. I've been there. Border town of provinces. All right, cool. Let's get into it. Literally says that on there. All things equal. What a name. What a name. Spring equinox. You've probably heard this coming up, or maybe you just have it in your bones that this is coming. The spring equinox is, at least here in the Northern Hemisphere, in the Western part of the world here in Canada, is tomorrow. Tomorrow. Today is March 19th. Tomorrow, guess what? March 20th. That is the spring or vernal equinox. And there's 5 things I want you to learn about these. Now, you've probably heard things about the equinox before. Maybe these things you just hadn't really thought about them before. There's probably some amateur astronomers here. Hopefully I can at least give you at least one little nugget of information that you hadn't really considered before. So let's take a look. Here's the 5 things. Let's go through them. And I'll make it full screen just to make it nice and big. And I think I'm going to take the banner off there. I'll put it back up a little bit later. I'll take that off. Okay, 5 things. First thing, why does daylight amount change at all? Why in the winter do we get less light, and then in the summertime we get more light? Like why does that happen? We're going to figure out why that is. Number 2, is there exactly 12 hours of daylight on the equinox? I think that's sort of a misconception or a conception. We're going to talk about that. Third thing, how does the sunrise and sunset direction change throughout the year? Okay, you're going to see something cool about the equinox, spring and fall equinox, and we're going to learn how the sunset direction changes with the year. It's really cool. I've got a cool demo for that. Someone asked me this just before I started a few hours ago. I asked anybody any questions. This is good. Why does the date sometimes different for the equinoxes? Sometimes it's like March 19th, sometimes it's the 20th, sometimes it's the 21st. Why is that? I'm going to try my best to answer that. And the 5th thing, how can we measure the size of the Earth on the equinox? If you know, you know. But if you've never heard of this before, it's really, really quite cool. So these are the 5 things we're gonna talk about today. So let's get started. We'll start, of course, with a drink of water. I swear it's water. All right. First thing, why does the amount of daylight change at all? And this sort of feels like a bit of like a fundamental sort of question. Like why does that happen? That we get different amounts of daylight throughout the year. This is where the aforementioned promised styrofoam balls come into play. The big thing that makes the thing you got to take away with this is the word tilt. I literally mean the word tilt. Why is it that why we get different amounts of daylight throughout the year? It's all about tilt. And I want to show you why. I have a styrofoam ball right here, and I have a lamp. Yes, it turned on, and I'm going to move this right over here. This is astronomy in action right here. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to take this off. Okay, and hopefully you can see that okay. Let's see if this demo is going to not be bad. Yes, this should work. I'll move the microphone like that. Okay. If you didn't guess already, this is the sun, okay? Use your imagination. This is the sun right here, and this is the Earth, okay? And on here, I've got a little person right at the North Pole at the top there. I'm going to show why that's important in just a little bit, okay? You probably already know this. Sun here, Earth like this. The Earth goes around the sun, okay? You probably learned this in school, okay? It takes 365 days or so to go around the Earth. Now I have the Earth upright like this, but this is kind of not exactly the right way to do it. The important thing, why we get different amount of daylight throughout the year, is because the Earth isn't upright like this exactly. It's actually tilted like this. Now, why is that important? I'll show you. I might have to zoom in a little bit here. Okay, hopefully this works. Okay, so at this point right here, and I'm going to turn my lights off above me. Give me 1 sec. There we go. Now it's a show. Okay. So here we have this tilt on the Earth like this. I can zoom in a little bit more like that. Okay. So here, you can notice that this top part is turned away from the sun right here, okay? And no matter how much I rotate this to simulate, a day around the Earth, this part of the Earth, this little guy right here, he doesn't get any daylight at all, okay? In the Northern Hemisphere, this would be, around the winter solstice, okay? If you ever go up to the North Pole or, northern parts, there's times where there's no daylight at all up there. And this is basically the winter solstice right here, okay? So you can spin as much as you want. This part will never get any light at all because of the tilt right here. 6 months later, the Earth has gone around like this. And you see that? Okay. The tilt here is important. It's always tilting in this same direction. This always confused me as a kid. And I never quite understood why we had seasons. This tilt is very important. It's always tilting in this direction as it goes around the sun. Okay. So wintertime, no light for this guy. But around the summertime, because of the tilt, he's now tilted towards the sun like that. Okay. And he tilts, and there's no nighttime for him. Okay. It's just permanent daylight for them. So this is the summer solstice. This is the winter solstice. But these middle parts here, spring equinox, summer solstice, fall equinox, winter solstice. So this is what we're approaching tomorrow, okay? We're still tilted this direction over here, okay? I'm sure that bright light there, I'm sure that's burning your eyes at this point, as it is mine, okay? This is what's happening tomorrow, is that the Earth is tilted towards here, neither towards the sun or away from the sun, and every single place on Earth is going to be getting around 12 hours of daylight. And we're going to talk about that. Okay, so tomorrow, this is what we are reaching. Does that make sense? Okay, I wish I had this demonstration shown to me like 20 years ago so I could understand it. It only took me, only until a few years ago that I actually fully understood it. Okay, I'm going to turn this off, and I'm going to turn these lights back on in a second here. Hopefully, that made sense for you. Let me know in the comments if it did. Oh, and the dog, Scout, has been a very good boy. He's not yelling or causing a ruckus at all. So hopefully that demonstration made sense for you folks there. Okay, so styrofoam balls. He did it. He actually did it. It demonstrated astronomy with styrofoam balls. Okay. All right. So let's go there. Okay. How much is the Earth tilted? There is an actual number for this. It's 23.4 degrees, I think, to 1 decimal point. That's the amount. Okay. So all of that is because of the Earth's tilt. Okay. This is something I never knew as a kid until I kind of learned this, and it's super obvious. Okay. Whenever you look at a globe like this, you notice it is actually tilted. Okay. Great. He's got this flat map there and this one there. Lots of contrast here. Okay. But if next time you see a globe, notice that it's tilted like this. Okay. And it's tilted at 23.4 degrees. It's not a manufacturing defect with all globes. The Earth is actually tilted like this, and that's what causes the seasons. And, argue if we didn't have seasons, we might not have life on Earth. So thank God for tilts. Okay. Wow. That has dried my mouth considerably. All right. And people are saying, thanks for the demo. Good. This is a good, holy crap. Good. It worked, I guess. All right. I've never understood that until now. Well, perfect. Good. So that's the first point that I wanted to teach you. Yes, it's tilted 23.4 degrees. Nailed on the head. And the dog came by and he didn't bark or anything. Good dog. Okay. Second thing. Is there exactly 12 hours of daylight on the equinox? This is sort of like a good shorthand. Oh, I'm not even sharing my screen. There we go. Point 2. Exactly. I don't have any assistants here. I've got a dog. My girlfriend, she's not here. So if it sounds like I'm talking about slides or that slides aren't up there, go in the comments and yell at me and say, hey, we don't see your slides. Okay. Is there exactly 12 hours of daylight on the equinox? This is a good shorthand, but if you're here, you're probably into pedantic stuff, I'm sure. So we're going to talk about this. Is there exactly 12 hours of daylight on the on the equinox. Let's take a look. There we go. Not exactly. Okay, that was a lot of ginning up for that. There's actually a tiny bit more than 12 hours of daylight on the equinox. Okay, and so for example, here in Montreal tomorrow, we're gonna get 12 hours and 8 minutes of light. Okay, we're sort of mid latitude, 45 degrees up on the globe. Okay, what about at the equator? At the equator, there's a city called Quito, Ecuador. Quito, Ecuador. Okay, they're getting 12 hours and 5 minutes. So even at the equator, they're getting a bit more than 12 hours of light, a few more minutes. What about in the southern hemisphere? Very interesting southern hemisphere. In Melbourne, Australia, they're going to get 12 hours and 10 minutes of light. So basically, everywhere on Earth is getting more than 12 hours of daylight. At the North and South Poles, it's nuts. We're not going to talk about that. We're going to keep it simple. Okay. Basically, every place on Earth is going to get more than 12 hours of light on tomorrow. And basically what this boils down to is how we define sunrise and sunset. Okay. So here's where we're going to use SkySafari. Okay. Here's what we're going to do. Okay. So I'm going to open the app here. Give me a second just to get everything. Let's stop this screen there. Yep, there we go. Share this screen there. This is what you're here for. Movie recorded. There we go. Okay, you should be able to see that. And it's kind of small, so we're going to go like this. There we go. Okay, so this is SkySafari. I did a tour of it in the last stream I did like 3 weeks ago, so I'm not going to repeat myself. But like this is basically one of those types of apps where you can see what's in the sky and you can change the time and you can get very, very, very precise. It's good for, newbies and for people who are professionals and stuff like that. Good app. Here's what I want to show you. Okay, so you see here, I'll zoom out a little bit right here, and I will show this. So in this app, you can sort of load different scenes of what it might look like. So this is, in the middle of a pond. Maybe you've gone fishing at 4 a.m. for some reason. It looks like this. You can load in a whole bunch of different types of scenes here. For what I'm demonstrating here, we're going to be sort of in a scene of the imagination, or maybe on the water. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I am going to just show the horizon as a translucent area. Yeah, like this. So that purple part is sort of below you, sort of the ground at your feet. Okay, anything above that is above the horizon. Hopefully that's nice and clear for you. Okay, so this is tomorrow here in Montreal. So I have it on March 20th at about 6:50 a.m. Okay, now tomorrow the sun is going to rise in the east. Maybe we'll talk about that a little bit later. And at 6:50 a.m. tomorrow in Montreal, the sun is still below the horizon. Can you see that there? Okay. So the yellow area is above the horizon. The pinkish purple area, that's still below the horizon. Okay. Let's go a few minutes ahead. 6:51, 6:52, 6:53, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Now, I think we could all agree that this part where the sun is right now, it's still below the horizon. And daylight hasn't really started technically yet. But at what moment do we define that the day has started? Okay. Do we define it as the moment that the sun is just a little bit over the horizon like that? See that? There's just a little bit of the upper limb of the sun right there. Okay. Or do we define it where, the middle part of the disk of the sun, is that the starting point of the day? Okay. Or is it, at the end right here? Okay. Okay. And you can see, if you're looking at the time below there, it's like a non-negligible amount of time. It's about 3 or so minutes for the sun to get fully above the horizon. Okay. So, 6:57, it's not above the horizon. 6:58, a little bit of it is. 6:59, about halfway. And then about 7 a.m., that's when it's all totally above the horizon. 7:01 or so. Okay. When do we start counting the daylight? We start counting it when the top of the sun first appears. Okay, I can zoom in just a little bit there, and you can see at 6:57 right there, 6:57 and 48 seconds or so. That is the time that we start with our watches. If I had a watch, we would start, okay, day has started now. Okay, That is how we define the start of the day here. Okay. Now, let's go forward in time. Let's go to the end of the day. What about the sunset? We look at the sunrise. What about the sunset? Okay. I'm going to go a few hours into the future after taking a drink of water. Okay. And the sun sets here at about 7 p.m. tomorrow in the west. Let me just put that up here. All right. So if we look towards the west now, we see the horizon there. Okay. Now, if we were, say, consistent, which astronomers sometimes are not, the end of the day would be at this point right here as the sun first touches the horizon right there. Do you think they do that? Do you think the eggheads in research have done that? No, they have not. We decided that the end of the day is the moment that the sun goes fully below the horizon. Okay? So right about there is the end of the day when the sun is completely below the horizon. Now, am I saying like, what difference does that make? That little difference in how we record the start and end of daylight is the reason why we get a few more minutes of, elapsed duration of daylight time on the equinox. That's why. That's why. Now, are we in pedantic territory? Yes, we completely are. But that's the way she blows. So that's the reason why we're getting a bit more than 12 hours of daylight tomorrow. So let us take this off, get my slides back here. I got another little thing that'll show maybe this a little bit better here. Okay. That was in SkySafari, the app right there. The way we define sunrise is the moment the top edge of the sun touches the horizon. Okay. We'll put it another way, like this. That green line is the horizon right there. Sunset begins right there as the top of the sun touches the horizon. And sunset when the top of it touches right there. So that's why we have more than 12 hours of daylight on the horizon. There's another reason, atmospheric refraction. It sort of warps how the sun appears. I'm not a physics person, so I'm sort of shuffling it under the rug, but there are other reasons why that's happening too. So that's why. Okay. So this makes the day a few minutes longer than night on the equinox. Yeah. So there is another word, okay? Equi means equal. Nox in Latin means night. So equinox is like equal night. There's another word called equilux, which I think we just sort of invented maybe afterwards. I don't know. Equal amounts of light, okay? This differs. This is a little bit different than the equinox and differs depending on your latitude. And this is the true day that we have equal amounts of day and night. And here in Montreal, it's on March 17th. So forever until the rest of time, I guess maybe, St. Patrick's Day will always be our day of the equilux. If you're at a different latitude than Montreal, that day will be different, but it's another thing you can look into. So I gave you some homework. Look into what the word equilux means. So, all right. Hopefully, I'm entertaining you, because boy, am I plowing through this water here. All right, that's 2 points of 5. Third point, we're almost halfway done. Okay, how does the sunrise and sunset direction change throughout the year? This one is really cool. I love showing this part here. Okay, I started the show off with this photo here. This is taken in Montreal, if you can believe it. Yes, it can be beautiful. We have a really great place in Montreal called the Belvedere Outremont, which is on top of the mountain in the middle of the city. Here it is sort of a wider view, okay? Maybe a little less artistic. Take note of where the sun is setting there, okay? And then sort of in the same general position, note where the sun is setting in this photo. See the difference? Okay. This is obviously, I think this is March last year I took this photo. This was in, I think, August or so. Use this tree as sort of a reference. Do you see the difference in the sunset direction there? Okay. You can see they're setting in different locations there. I think this one is a little bit different time, September or so, something like that. Okay. I'm gonna use a different app to sort of showcase showcase this. I'm using, I'm not using SkySafari here. Okay, different apps do different things, and this one shows things in sort of an interesting way. I do a workshop here in Montreal called Sunset Club. That's what I used to call it, but that sounds sort of saucy, like a nightclub in Miami or something in the 80s or something like that. We go up and I show them the sun setting from this location, the Belvedere Outremont. I love showing this part. So I'm going to load up a sun surveyor here. I'm just going to hide my slides. Present, change that window. Right. Okay. So the app we were using before was obviously SkySafari. Great app. Okay. This app here again is called Sun Surveyor. Okay. And has a few really neat different modes to it. I'll make me smaller and that bigger. Okay. So this shows a map of Montreal, and I'm gonna pinpoint where the Belvedere Outremont is, so I can give you the exact same reference point there. So I'm going to go here into map view there. Okay. And I can turn on the street view here. Okay. So this is using, Google Street View. And what this is making is sort of like a map of the directions that we're facing. Okay. So here we're looking towards the northwest. This we're looking west and southwest here. This yellow line, which I'll turn off and on, that is the path of the sun through the sky. This red dot, I'm just going to turn the sun path off there. This red dot is kind of key and what I want you to focus on. This red dot is the position that the sun is setting on the horizon. Okay, I'll show you this in a second here. Okay, so I have the date set to today, Sunday, March 19th, 2023. And do you notice where the sun is setting today? Pretty much exactly to the west. Okay. Along the bottom there, I can change the time. So it says Sunday, March 19th, 2023. I'm gonna swipe my finger there. I'm gonna move forward in time. Watch what happens to that red dot. Okay. Again, that the red dot is the place on the horizon that the sun sets. I'm going to go forward in time slowly. Okay, March 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th. I'll go a little more quicker. April. Do you see what's happening? This is the sunset location, mid-April. Now we're getting into May. Do you see what's happening there? The sun is setting more to the northwest. More to the northwest. We're in May now. Okay. We're getting into June. Right now, it's still going more northwest. June 7th, June 8th, June 9th, June 11th, June 21st. Okay. What happens around June 21st? Can you guess? This is called dead air, and I'm not going to have too much dead air here. The summer solstice. That's around June 21st. That's the day of the summer solstice. And that's the day that we have the most amount of daylight and of the year. It's also the day that the sun sets its most northwest in the sky. Okay, you can see it's almost exactly northwest there. Okay, what do you think will happen after the summer solstice? I'm going to go forwards in time. Watch what happens. Watch that red dot. Now it's going back like that. I'll zoom in just a little bit there for you. That red dot. Okay, we're in July, now in August. Okay, what day do you think that red dot will get back to west, exactly west? Takers. Dun, 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 dun. September 22nd, 23rd, the autumn equinox. Okay, so on the equinoxes, the sun sets basically exactly. It rises exactly east and sets exactly to the west. This is so cool. I love showing people this. Okay, after the autumn equinox, I think you're getting the idea now. The days start to get shorter. Okay, and so the sun is going to set more to the southwest. You can see the southwest there. Dun, 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 dun. We're in October, November, December, and around December 21st is, of course, the winter solstice. Oops, I overshot it there. And that is the most southwest that it gets here in Montreal. This will vary depending where you are in the world. Okay. Then after that, the red dot, the sunset, starts to go back towards the west. It's really cool. It's really cool. I'll just do it really quick here. You see back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, like that. Yeah. Getting a few comments there. Sunset Club sounds like a great retirement club. Believe me, pretty good. That's neat. Very, very cool. Okay. I love showing this to people in person at the mountain. It really sort of like hammers home the direction there. Another cool thing I want to point out here. So I'm showing the sunrise and sunset location. I can turn that on and off and stuff like that. Okay. I'm going to turn on the sun. Yes, like that. Okay, it'll make me small one more time. Okay, this yellow path is the path in the sky that the sun would travel on that day. So I'm going to move this to today. Okay, all right. And I'm just going to go up like that. Okay. During the summer months, the sun appears higher in the sky. And in the wintertime, it appears lower in the sky. Okay, and that might feel kind of conceptual here, but I'm going to go kind of quickly through it. Watch what happens with this yellow line. Okay, this is March. This is after the spring equinox. April, May. See how it's getting higher in the sky? May, June, and then here comes the summer solstice, and it'll start going more down like that. Okay. So, autumn equinox. I'm trying to get these mixed up here. And then December, this you can see the sun is sort of lower in the sky on those days. Okay. It's a great visualization here. Okay. Now, if that doesn't quite work for you, I'll show it just in another way. Okay. 3D compass, that like this. Okay. Here's another way to sort of look at the changing direction of the sunset. Okay. I'll just turn off the sun there. So on the orange side, that's the sunrise, and in the red there, that's the sunset location, direction. Okay. This is today. You can see it's exactly east rising, exactly west setting. And as I go throughout the year, you can see the sunset direction changing. Okay. Seen on a compass from a top-down point of view. Okay. Sometimes people need sort of different ways to sort of visualize how things look, and that's why I love about using SkySafari and all these other apps. You can each app sort of shows things in their own different sort of ways. And this sort of last way to sort of illustrate how high in the sky the sun is. So you see that yellow line? That's how high in the sky the sun gets. Okay, so this is today, and over the coming months, the sun will appear higher and higher in the sky like that. Then after the summer solstice, it'll appear lower and lower in the sky until this winter solstice when it's really low. And the cycle repeats and repeats, and hopefully you get to see about 85 to 100 of them. Okay, hopefully that demonstration made sense. Yeah. So that's Sun Surveyor. SkySafari it shows different things. So each astronomy app does things a little bit differently there. But I thought that was kind of a useful one for people to see there as well. Okay, let's get my slides back here. Okay, take a drink of water as he tries to get his breath back. There we go. Okay, that's Sun Surveyor. Another cool app. SkySafari, great, but that's another app to sort of look at there. Okay, I keep walking into my slides like this. I just got to be on this side right here. Okay, number 4 of 5. Okay, why is the date of the equinox sometimes different? This is a good. This is a interesting question. I thought about this too. Like sometimes it's March 19th for the spring equinox. Sometimes it's March 20th, 21st. What is this? I'll admit I don't quite have it in my bones, this answer. I've done a little bit of searching before. The way I try to think of it is the equinox is sort of like a moment in time. Okay. When I did that demonstration of the Earth going around the sun like this, okay, and I'll just hide that for a second, like that. Okay. The winter solstice, there's like a particular like moment, a singular sort of moment that the Earth goes around the sun and it's like, boom, it is the exact moment of the winter solstice. And it goes around and there's an exact moment that it's the spring equinox. And there's an exact moment. How many times can you do this? Exact moment the summer solstice happens. It just sort of briefly passes into that moment. And so it's not like an entire day. that it lasts. It's like a moment in time. It's true because I put it on a slide right there. So I think for the next one, yes, there's an actual definition of what the equinox actually is. Okay, it's the moment that the sun is directly over the equator. Now, this might not make sense right now, but I'll have a little demo in a second here. But this is basically what it is: the moment the sun is over the equator. Okay, here's a few different years and dates that the equinoxes happened for the spring equinox. 2020, it was on March 19th at like 10:50 p.m. The next year, it was on March 20th, okay, at like 4 in the morning. Last year, again, March 20th. This year, again, March 20th. But you see, it's a different time. So it's a specific moment in time, okay? Next year, it's going to be on March 19th at like 10 p.m. at night, okay? It's not an entire day. It's an exact moment in time. Okay, Trevor, they've heard it enough. Okay, they're good. They're good. Okay, and the 2025, it'll be March 20th again, okay? The way that I can sort of summarize it, and I think you might have to do a little bit of homework on your own. Basically, it takes the Earth not 365 days to go around the sun, okay? It takes about 365.25, and there's some other digits that should be in there afterwards too, to go around the sun, okay? A little bit more than 365 days. Hence, every few years, we need to add a leap year, okay? And I think the leap year is a big part of why the equinox gets shifted like that. So leap years are sort of our best try at making our calendars all line up, okay? And so sometimes that's why the spring equinox shifts like that. It's because of that. Okay. But I encourage you to do a little bit of your own research on that, that you can become an anti-vaxxer if you do that. Anyways, no. All right. Number five, last one. How can we measure the size of Earth on the equinox? Okay, let's see. Okay, this is really cool. I love doing this demonstration. Okay, how can we measure the size of the Earth on the equinox? Okay, I said before, the equinox is sort of the moment the sun is directly over the equator. What does that mean? Okay, there's a guy. His name was Eratosthenes. This is like 2,000 years ago or something like that. And basically, he wanted a way to like figure out how big the Earth is. And he didn't have access to rocketry or anything like that, obviously. So he came up with this really clever way to figure out how big the Earth was. If you've seen Cosmos, the original Cosmos, the Carl Sagan, he has a great episode on this with a great demonstration, and he has, a budget. I do not. And so I have a video clip in a blog post I'll show a little bit later that has this probably in a more artsy, poetic way than I'll do it. But you see here, he's got a piece of cardboard there, and he's got 2 points on it right there, okay? Like that, okay? He's got 2 sticks up like that. And you see they're putting like shadows down like that, okay? Basically, on the equinox, the sun is directly over the equator. The sun is directly over the equator. So if you were at the equator tomorrow and you had a stick that was upright in the air, and here in this video, I'm sort of doing it. See, there's a shadow, but once the light goes directly over the stick, you see what happens there? There's no shadow. Okay? So tomorrow at solar noon at the equator, this is what they would see. They would see no shadows. And it would look, kind of like this, no shadow. All right? There's funny photos of this like that. Maybe I'll just show that video one more time just because I had it small there. Okay, see like this? No shadows for this stick right there. Okay, tomorrow go to the equator and you can see this. Okay, no shadows. Okay, it looks really weird when you see it. When you see it like this, it looks like a badly rendered video game. A game from the 90s. No shadows anywhere. So, but for a few minutes, this is what it looks like. On the equator, okay? So if you're at the equator, you have a stick there, okay? But if we're here in Montreal, We have another stick there. Our stick, because it's not directly underneath the sun, it's going to cast a shadow. And we can do a really cool experiment with this, okay? And all you need is a plunger, okay? I did a live stream 2 years ago, exactly tomorrow, doing this experiment live and measuring the size of the Earth. And I use a plunger because it's upright and all that. Basically what you do, you have your stick like that, or your plunger, and you measure how big the stick is. Mine was about 1 meter. And then you measure the shadow that the stick makes, okay? And using this, you can discover how big the Earth is. Yes, that was a toilet plunger. So we have the equator. They have no shadow. And then we find out how far apart the equator and Montreal are. Now, we're doing a little bit cheating here because we live in the modern world. I found that it's 5,041 kilometers. That's the distance between the two. But if you were Eratosthenes down in the old times of thousands of years ago, he hired, this is the story, he hired somebody to pace out the distance between one city to another city. I don't know, a couple 100 kilometers or something like that. And that's how they found the distance. We're basically doing that, but not making somebody walk straight to the equator, okay? We have different tools to do that, okay? And so with this, we know the distance between the equator and Montreal. And basically, we want to find out the angle difference between these two. Right there, that angle right there. And if we can find that, we have that angle of difference, how far apart they are, we can figure out the circumference of the Earth. Okay. Now, I'm kind of quickly going through this. I'm skimming over a lot of stuff because I'm going to show a blog post that I wrote, a step-by-step on how to do this tomorrow, if you want to do it. And with this, we can find the circumference of the Earth. So I wrote a blog post about this here. How to measure the size of Earth with a stick. Maybe I'll put it into the chat just at the very end. Or if you go to my website, plateauastro.com/blog, you'll see it there. It should be 6 or 7 posts down, step by step on how to do it. I also embedded the video the live stream I did doing it in real time, so you can show that I'm not actually cheating there. And it's a really cool experiment to do with kids, but you can only do it on the Equinox or maybe a day or two before or after. I think it should be okay. The other cool thing I want to mention here, this is me in black and white measuring the shadow of a plunger like a dignified man. This really blew me away when I did this for the first time about two and a half years ago. Okay, I was measuring the size of my stick. The shadow of my stick, okay? So I have, this stick here. Let's say that's, 1 meter high right there. And I was measuring the shadow of it, and the shadow of it was also 1 meter, okay? This confused me. Why are they the same length, okay? If you know a little bit of trigonometry, if you don't, that's okay. If you have the side of one, or two sides like this, you also have that third side right there. You can find out the angles. So this angle right here, that's 90 degrees, okay? You can figure out the angles that these are, okay? And what I found is that this angle here, the one in green right there, was 45 degrees. 45 degrees. I was like, why is my shadow and my stick the exact same? And 45 degrees, where have I heard that before? And what that is, it is your latitude on Earth. Okay, so in Montreal, we're at right between the equator and the North Pole. And so when you measure this, if you do it tomorrow, if you measure that angle in green there, that's going to show you your latitude on Earth. And I remember phoning my mom when I first did this, and I asked her to do the experiment. She's out in Alberta. And I asked her, okay, how big's the stick there? How big's the shadow? And then I calculated it. She told me the numbers. And I'm like, oh, wow, they're in, around Edmonton. And I calculated it, and it showed the latitude there as well. It blew me away. This is one of those moments that just absolutely blew me away. Yeah. So I totally encourage you to try this out someday. It's really cool. Someday, as in maybe tomorrow, if it's clear where you are. One of those mind-blowing experiences of astronomy, doing it on your own. So that's kind of all I have. I've talked for 46 minutes here. I've gone way over time. I thought this was going to be a 25-minute. I'm sorry. I apologize, but that's hopefully I've been entertaining for you. I'm going to go through the chat and see if there's any questions here. Before I do that, I just want to say thank you to SkySafari. They've been really great folks. And I said I wanted to do a stream. They said, hey, sure, we'll give you some codes. So if you don't have SkySafari, they are giving away 10 codes for their SkySafari Plus version. So you can go to skysafari.com, skysafariastronomy.com. That's their website. If you haven't already, you can go to plateauastro.com/equinox. I'll put this up in the banner right there. Go there, have my website, and I'll ask for your name, your email address, what device you want this for, and then put in the secret code equal. And the first 5 people will get the app. I'll send you the codes, and then the last 5 I'll randomly draw. It's called democracy. I've tried my best. So they're really great folks for that. Last thing, Plateau Astro. I'm going to go through your questions. I'll just in case people go off. If you want to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, where I'm really quite active, and Twitter, where I'm really quite active, you can follow me there. If you want to, you should subscribe on YouTube. I think the videos I make are kind of interesting. Not to pump myself up too much, but if you found this interesting, little oddball things like this, I think you'll like my other videos that I make. So Messi, thank you for watching. I'm going to go through some of your comments and your questions here. I'm going to leave that there. I'll just make this nice and stylish, like that. Okay, let's go through. I understand. That's good. I'm an amateur astronomer, and the changing of where the sun sets changing is new to me. Awesome. Good. That's awesome that you've. Thank you for that, Gary. That was awesome. Thank you. Great. This is a compliment, so we'll just leave that very briefly. Yeah. If you have any questions, you can either privately ask them. If you want to put them here, I will take a few minutes and I will obviously answer them if I can. You're awesome for being here. Yes. Carl is my hero. He's a good guy. Let's see. Chris Vaughan, who's out in Toronto, I believe, other astronomer who has a great newsletter. If you lived within 23.4 degrees north or south of the equator, there would be one day of the year where no shadows are cast at noon where you are. Yes, this is a great point. So let's see. I can zoom myself out a little bit here, I believe. Yeah, okay. So we were talking earlier about how the Earth, thank you for bringing this up, Chris. This is great. The Earth is tilted 23.4 degrees. Okay. Again, it's not a manufacturing defect that all the globes are angled like this. If you ever look at a map or a globe like this, you're going to see a few different lines. I'll try to point it out a little bit here, but anywhere between the equator and 23.4, you're probably going to see like this little dotted line right there. It might say Tropic of Cancer or Tropic of Capricorn. Okay. Places that are 23 degrees north or south of the equator, we call those the tropics. Okay. And there are days of the year, I think in Hawaii, they call it Lahaina noon. I think I'm mispronouncing that there. There's a day of the year where you get that zero shadow day, where the sun would be directly over the horizon. You would get that goofball effect of there being no shadows. I believe there's calculators out there. You can Google like zero shadow day calculator, and it'll show you what day of the year that is. If you are north of 23 degrees or south of 23 degrees, you don't get that. You don't get this effect. So I don't think I've traveled to the tropics. No, I did when I was in Australia, but I was a silly man back then, and I wasn't paying attention. Next time I go to around the equator, I'm definitely going to try to plan it out. So it's like during the zero shadow day, just feels like an interesting phenomenon to like look around and for a few minutes see no shadows. Very, very bizarre. Thanks for bringing that up, Chris. Yes, not just one day, two days of the year. Good point. I really wish I could like some of the comments. That right there, comment alone is a like itself. Is the equinox time GMT? I showed a slide there. Let me put this all back up. I think I showed all of these times for for Eastern time zone. Okay, I just found a local website and they had this, but you can find this. I think even on the Wikipedia page for Equinox, there's a list of the last 5 and upcoming 5 that shows the time in GMT, so Greenwich Mean Time there. So I'll take that off. Okay, so in Saskatoon it's 52 degrees. Yeah. So when I was describing the doing the measurement of the shadow. Sorry, there should be a more efficient way for me to do this. In Montreal, because we are literally, we're halfway between the North Pole and the equator. It's kind of kooky. The angle that I got was 45 degrees. I honestly thought I was doing the experiment wrong the first time, but that's just where we are. Okay, so I was doing this. So if you were to do this in Saskatoon, which is at 52 degrees north, which sounds about right. Yep. You'd be able to figure that out. Okay. And I believe there's apps out there that will like show you how big a stick is. If you were to do this experiment on certain days, it's kind of a cool thing. Yes, and this is another cool thing. Proof number 102. I'm not sure how official that numbering system is, but yeah, it's another proof that the Earth is not flat. It's really, really cool. Like you could do this experiment with multiple people. If you have friends on the East Coast and friends on the West Coast, you could like say, okay, what's your measurement over there? What's your measurement over there? And like, hopefully you trust your friends and the information that they're giving you. You can like do this to figure out the Earth is not flat. I love showing these little experiments, sort of find little proofs of your own. My passion is so infectious. Thank you very much. Great presentation. The Plus version of SkySafari is fantastic. Yeah, I was using the Pro version here, but I think everything I was showing there, you can do with the Plus version too. And literally, I think I showed like 1.5 features of SkySafari there. So yeah, there's many things you can do with SkySafari. Okay. Thanks again for your presentation was fantastic. Thank you so much. I'm also an educator, so I hope you don't mind if I steal some of your ideas. Of course not. Go for it. Go for it. And if I do presentations as well. So if you have any need for a presentation, just hit me up on my website, plateauastro.com. So this is a good question. Would there be no life on Earth if there were no seasons? There's perhaps. Yeah, perhaps. Yeah. So how do I begin to answer this question? Okay. So here's the Earth right here. Okay. And heck, let's do it right here. Okay. All right. Here's the sun right there. I'll move that like that. Okay. So again, the Earth goes around the sun like that. And we're tilted like this. So we get the change of daylight and the change of seasons. Okay. All because of that tilt. If we didn't have that tilt, basically it would be like the equinox every day, essentially. 12 hours of daylight like that all the time. Okay. Everywhere on Earth. I'm not sure if I have this completely right, but if you're at the North Pole tomorrow, you would have 24 hours of daylight. I think I'd have it. The sun would be like just on the horizon all of the time, basically, or just above the horizon. I might be butchering this. And so, obviously, like the light is going through more atmosphere, so it's getting like diffused and all that. And so maybe it would be cold anyways. But if it was like that, there might not be, a cold Arctic up there, or a cold Antarctic like that. Life would be quite a bit different if it weren't like this. There's a really cool app. I think it's just for Mac and PC only, called Universe Simulator or something like that, where you can like create planets and then like change the specifications of them and then let time go forward very, 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 very quickly. So you could set your planet to be like at a tilt, instead of like 23.4 degrees, you could have it be like 90 degrees and then see the effects of like what would happen. Or if you didn't have any like that, and just let time sort of run. And I think it tries to do its best. Maybe it's doing some guesswork there what the end effects of that would be. That would be a totally different presentation. But yeah, life would be quite a bit different. I'm sure there's like, you know, a bunch of great sci-fi all about how life would be different on different planets like that. That's a good question, Susan. Very, very good. How else can we contribute to keep these going? Keep watching, but if you want to support, I have a Patreon, and I do have like a buy me a coffee. I think I'll load this up by plateau.com/support. Yeah, there we go. I think I can share this tab. Stop screen, share, Chrome tab. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. So if you do want to support, you can go to plateauastro.com/support. I do have a Patreon. So if you want to support on a monthly basis, or if you just enjoy this, want to buy me a coffee, I have links there. I'll put this into the chat, but basically you can support me there, or just buy me a coffee. If you live in Montreal and you'd like a kid or somebody to like do a kid's birthday, hey, I'll that's another service that I do. So if you want my business, hey, I'd be happy to help you out. Happy to help you out there. I'll put this into the chat as well. There we go. Okay. Awesome. I think I've got to start closing it down here. I'm surprised the dog hasn't gone berserk and started barking at all. Let's see here. Shortest day of year, knew that too. Sacrifice. We're talking about sacrifices now. Thanks for your presentation. The pup was he was great. Good. We're using SkySafari Pro. I was using SkySafari Pro. The people at SkySafari, they set me up there, and it was, yeah. But the version they are giving away is SkySafari Plus, but it has a lot of the same features for it there too. Love the visualization about changing things. That's good. Great job, Trevor. Nice to meet you. Absolutely. If you enjoy this, please subscribe. I think I'm going to start wrapping it up here. My gosh, I've gone for almost an hour. I got to keep it under an hour. Okay. Yes, please tell us how to support. Go to plateauastro.com/support, and that would do it. But also go to plateauastro.com/equinox. Put your name in there, and for the draw. Again, the secret code is equal. So hopefully that will keep you coming for more. So, all right, I'm gonna wrap it up. Here. Thanks so much for thank you very much. That's very kind. Yes, if you enjoyed it, I'd be happy to take all your money. All right, I'll take that banner off. Thanks so much. Thank you again to SkySafari. They were great people, and you should totally go to plateauastro.com/equinox. Put in your name, put in your email address, put in the secret code equal, and first 5 people will give you codes for free apps, and the other 5 will just randomly choose it. Again, what is democracy other than me just randomly choosing things? Okay, now he's just making bad, terrible jokes. All right, I'm gonna get going. Thank you all so much for watching, and have a great week. See you soon.